Today we're going to talk about fall shoes, the trends, what's in, what's out, and how to actually style this stuff. I don't know about you, but I can put together a whole outfit pretty confidently. I get to picking out the shoes. That's where I get hung up. If you're struggling with the same thing, you are in the right place. Today, we're gonna figure it out together. In general, chunky is out, sleek, refined, more minimalist is in. And I will go through each category of shoe and sort of give you some examples. As far as colors and materials that are trending in a big way for fall, all things suede, as far as the it material. Leather, of course, is always going to be in, but suede's really having a moment, as well as velvet, especially when we're talking about flat shoes. Burgundy is the hot color of fall 2025, and chocolate brown, whether it's a warm brown or more often we're seeing a cool tone brown, also huge right now. Animal prints are seeing a resurgence, not just the leopard print, zebra, snakeskin, you name the animal, somebody has created a shoe that looks like that. And studs. I'm not talking about studs like these, I'm talking about studs like these. Before we actually get to the specific shoe types, let's talk about the bottoms that you're gonna be wearing. So I'm actually gonna show you all of the different kinds of shoes with a cropped jean, a full-length jean, and a trouser in two different lengths, and you'll see why as we go through. All of the things I'm talking about, whether I show them here or not, will be listed down in the description box with all the links, the pricing, and all that information. So I will have lots of examples of shoes, especially more budget-friendly ones, down in the description box. I'll take that info and also pin it to the top of the comments. So be sure to look for that information because there's a lot more going on below my head than what's going on right here. So let's start with what is the most popular, I'd say, shoe style trend for fall 2025, and that is Mary Janes or ballet shoes. They're kind of interchangeable. They're a very similar silhouette. They're a flat heel, like say this one. The Mary Jane style, of course, is going to have a strap going across the top of the foot. The ballet version, let's say, is more sleek, can be rounded or pointed toe, and obviously no strap on the top. And there are lots of different examples of these. The easiest way to wear these, if you want to really show off the shoe, is with a cropped style pant or jeans in this case. And ideally you want it just above your ankle bone so it doesn't look like they're capri pants. It's a more modern silhouette. So the trick is to not get them too much above that ankle bone. And then you can see the beautiful shoes. Like I showed you, these are faux velvet, as are these. And then I have these really fun ones. So leopard print is another big trend that we talked about. Now, I've heard from a couple of places that they're saying that mesh shoes are out. I would say mesh shoes with the crystal embellishments all over it, those may be out, but this is a great way to bring in that leopard print. It's softer because it's a mesh. It's not quite as harsh. And instead of black leather accents, I feel like the brown really softens the look and makes this a lot more wearable. If you want to wear a flat style shoe like the Mary Jane with a longer pant or longer jean, again, the key is where does the bottom of the pant stop? You don't want it so long that it's pooling on the ground and pooling at the front of the shoe and making the bottom half of your leg look really thick and bulky. Ideally, you want it to break right at the top of the foot, close to where your toes begin. Basically, most of the shoe will be hidden except for this little piece here in the front. And obviously you want it to just skim the floor. These are guidelines. Of course, you can wear your pants any way you want. I personally don't love seeing it when people wear any style pant and it's dragging on the ground behind them. To me, it just looks sloppy and dirty, but this is my personal opinion. So what we're seeing in the Mary Jane or ballet flat style that makes it more modern and on trend are, like I said, things like studs or velvet or leopard print or interesting metallic accents across the top of the shoe. This one is the suede material that is really popular, and then they went a step further and added grommets on the double straps for more added interest. Another big style for this year, and honestly, it's a classic, it's never really gone out of style, are loafers. What has gone out of style for this year are the big, chunky, thick, very masculine, I feel like, looking loafers. I never got into them. I don't feel like they're flattering on anybody. They just draw your eye down. And when you want someone looking at you, yes, of course, the shoe is an accessory and part of your outfit, but obviously you want the attention on your face. When people see you, it should be a face-to-face, eye-to-eye moment. We're seeing all different kinds of styles of loafers. I only brought, I think, one or two to show you here, but I have a bunch listed. So this one is incorporating the burgundy trend. That is huge, and you can see these in all kinds of styles. And then this is a suede option as well. You'll see some with embellishments across the top of the shoe, some without. I love wearing them as an alternative to white sneakers. So a white or off-white smooth leather shoe is a great option. This one does have that horsebit detail. Very inspired by the Gucci loafer that's been around for quite some time. Then we're seeing them in different colors and suede options. This is a faux suede in that chocolate brown, again with the embellishment. All of these shoes, by the way, do come in lots of other colors. So feel free to explore the links and find a color you like better. And then I've also put in this category the driver or moccasin style. It's essentially the same concept as a loafer, but it has more of a rubber tread on the back, and sometimes there's some buttons going up the back. So my favorite and most budget-friendly style are these faux suede options. These do come in a faux leather as well. Navy's another color we're seeing have a big moment right now, and this is the driver style with those buttons going up the back and more of a lug sole, but a very thin, not chunky lug sole. And then these are another fun one, kind of a hybrid between the loafer and the moccasin because of the sole style. And it does have that gold embellishment, and what a fun color this one is. I know I just showed you a ton of loafers, but I actually don't have the one pair I really feel I need in my wardrobe. I know, I shop for a living and still I struggle with finding the perfect shoe, and I obviously have a lot of them. What I'm looking for is a darker brown smooth leather loafer to wear in lieu of a black shoe. What you are not going to see me hold up today are any black shoes. I really feel like black shoes, whether it's a loafer, a sneaker, a bootie, a boot, you name it, whatever, I feel like it only looks good worn with a black pair of pants that come all the way down to the shoe, or a black dress that comes all the way down to the shoe. Otherwise, I feel like a nude or beige or tan shoe is a better option. How to wear the loafers, very same concept as the Mary Janes and ballet shoes. You can easily wear these with a more cropped jean or pant style, again, right above the ankle bone, so you can focus on the shoe. If you're gonna wear a full-length pant or trouser, it's that same concept, and it's gonna be the same throughout all of these shoes. If you're going full length, you want it to just hit the top of that loafer, boom, right at the top there. So it just skims the floor right at the base of your foot. You don't want it pooling on the ground, and you also don't want it pooling a lot of material bunching up at the top of the shoe. Again, that makes it really thick and heavy around your ankle. I don't think any of us want thicker ankles or the appearance of thicker ankles. It's something I personally am struggling with all the time. You also don't want it to end just above the top of the shoe. It's an awkward length, and it's just gonna make the proportions look wrong on what might have been an amazing outfit. Now here's a shoe trend that's big, and I am not jumping on that bandwagon. Just because something is trending does not mean that you have to be the one to show it off. You can leave it for someone else, and that is the Brogue or Oxford look. It's very menswear inspired, but it goes a step further, and most of the options we're seeing are very heavy. They're very clunky. I don't love the lace up part. I think they look far too masculine, far too heavy on the foot. I like playing with menswear looks that are designed for women. These look like we took shoes out of our husband's or dad's closet and we're wearing them on our own feet. I don't like them. I don't think they're flattering. I do think if you're very fashion forward, you can pull it off. I think if you're in your 20s, that's the time of life when you can have a little more fun experimenting with certain looks that maybe aren't as flattering on, say, 50 and up. I also think that there are looks that we can pull off at 50 and up that would look odd on a 20-year-old. So I'm not age shaming here. I just think that in different periods of our lives, some things work better than others. But again, if you love a Brogue or an Oxford, you wear it with pride, hold your head up. I personally am not recommending it. Now let's talk about another lower heeled style, and that is a sneaker. And this is a trend I was slow to adopt. I really got into it this year when I tore my calf muscle and was relegated to wearing sneakers for weeks on end. But the chunky dad or grandpa shoe, out. We're not seeing that. What we are seeing, which is a style I personally love, is the low top sneaker, lower silhouette. This is about as chunky of a sole as you're gonna see on the more on-trend or in fashion at the moment sneakers. And while a white sneaker is always fabulous and will go with everything, especially for fall and winter, we are seeing beige and chocolate brown, and I don't have a pair of chocolate brown sneakers. I can't believe this. I know that this exact one comes in a chocolate brown. I already have this in black as well. Do I need the same pair of shoes in a third color? We don't know. I did swap the laces out for no tie ones because I do like a cleaner look here. And I will link to, there's 2 different kinds of no tie laces that I love. They're on Amazon. I'll put them down below under sneakers. So these are now just slip-on, which are fantastic. I love a beige. I love a chocolate brown. I love a navy sneaker. I think a burgundy sneaker is a really fun way to bring that trend in. This looks especially great with navy. You can absolutely wear these with trousers. And let's talk about how we're wearing these sneakers. Obviously, sneakers and jeans, that's something we're seeing all over the place. The trick to pulling this off is making sure that the jean length is more of a cropped style. I really feel like that's the only way to pull it off without looking like a mom from the 90s. And there's nothing wrong with looking like a mom from the 90s if you're in the 90s, but now we're in 2025, so we want to look a little more up to date. If you wear too long of a jean with this, it starts to pool around the top of the sneaker and it just makes it look dated and just kind of off. If you do want to wear a pair of full length jeans, I'm showing it with a pair of wide leg, which just is not working and they're a little too long. I would go for more of a straight leg look, but make sure that the top of the shoe just hits the bottom of the jean. Just like the trousers, just like the Mary Janes, the ballet flats, the loafers, same concept. I do want to bring back the not white sneakers. If you're in a work environment that runs a little more towards the creative industry or it's a little more casual, a great way to wear sneakers to work with dressier pants and trousers is to go with something beige or cool tone brown. It just is a more sophisticated look and less of a contrast between your darker navy or black pant and the sneakers. Okay, let's talk about boots because obviously boots are huge for fall and winter. They're more weather appropriate. And I know I'm showing a lot of these shoes without socks. Where I live, I am in San Antonio, Texas. That's South Central Texas as I'm filming this. We're still in the 90s. So fall is a concept. It's not a reality here. So we're not wearing socks with anything yet. Obviously, if I'm going to throw on a pair of boots or booties, I will. And we can discuss socks in another video because I'm still not entirely sure where I sit on that one. So I don't feel qualified to give an expert opinion on the socks. But as far as boots and booties go, we have a few styles. So first of all, let's talk about what I am not going to recommend. The slouchy boot style, where you see the fabric, usually suede, sometimes leather, kind of bunching up and pooling down, almost like the slouchy socks we wore in the 80s and 90s. Here's my thing. I mentioned I'm always battling the look of thicker ankles. I don't have the best developed calves either. I tend to carry my weight in my legs, so the last thing that I need is more bulk and thickness around my lower legs. Now, if you have the opposite problem and you have been struggling because you have super skinny legs, lucky you, then this is a great look for you. But for most people I know, specifically most women I know, we are trying to make our legs look thinner, not thicker. So I'm gonna say, when in doubt, avoid the slouchy boot look. Now for ankle boots, something I tend to live in come the cooler temperatures, we have seen a little bit of a tweak to what is on trend. You remember and it's not hard to remember because I was just wearing a pair, the ankle boots that have a little notch at the ankle and a stacked wooden heel, and we've been wearing them with our skinny jeans since the 20-teens. We're done. It's done. It's taking a break. I'm sure we'll see it again. But now we're seeing more of a fully encased shoe. So the heel goes with the shaft and the foot and all that. Whether it's suede or faux suede, we're seeing some thicker heels, but a kitten heel is big. Another one, obviously in burgundy. This one's a little bit of a higher heel, but easier to walk around in. If we do see a wooden shaft like this one, it doesn't have the notch. This one has actually quite the taller shaft, the pointy toe. So this is a little bit more of a modern 2025 version of the ankle notch. I loved those. I wore the you know what out of them. So it's gonna be hard for my brain to retrain and reach for something more like this, but we can do it. And we also know the way fashion trends fly, those ankle notch boots will be back in a year or two. So I wouldn't say get rid of them, just don't wear them right now. Now, how to wear these. So you can wear an ankle boot with a crop pant, but the key here is to make sure that the shaft is tall enough so that it goes under the hem of your pant. You don't want it to catch on the top and bunch up and get weird. You also don't want there to be any flesh basically exposed, any leg exposed between the top of the boot and the bottom of your pants. So if you're gonna wear these with a crop pant, make sure that you have a taller shaft. Otherwise, I would generally recommend wearing an ankle boot with a full-length pant or trouser that breaks across the top of the foot right here. I've had this pair for quite a few years now. It's just a little bit of a kitten heel. And what I love about this pair specifically, or anything that looks like this, is that when you have the bottom of the pant coming right across the shoe like this, all you see is that stiletto heel, and you have no idea whether I'm wearing 4-inch stiletto boots or a little baby kitten heel. I don't have a lot of boots to physically show you because I haven't really bought any new ones yet. I'm still kind of waiting for my real fall season to come around so that I can actually wear them and share them with you before they go out of stock. And like I said, I'm kind of holding back on anything with a heel until I can walk confidently in heels, which is why I've invested a ridiculous amount of money in flat shoes. Now let's talk about tall boots. The one caveat I would say here that we're really not seeing in 2025 are the over-the-knee boots, which I'm kind of glad about because even though I have owned a few pairs myself over the years, every time I see them on people, or even when I put them on myself, I feel like I'm putting on a pirate costume. They look kind of costumey, whether you're dressing up like a pirate or a stripper. I don't know. It doesn't work for me, but adjust to the knee boot, perfect. Now, obviously the easiest way to wear these is with dresses, and I'm not gonna show you dresses, like just put them on under a long dress, you are good to go. Or even a dress that comes to the knee or right above the knee, great, you can show some skin there. We don't need to worry about it, just the length of the skirt or the dress, and I will probably style some for you in the next coming weeks. But for now, I wanna talk about how to style these with pants. So obviously, we're not gonna do cropped pants with a tall boot. It really doesn't lend itself to that. Jeans, boot cut jeans, wide leg jeans, as long as there's enough width from the knee down to fully cover your boot without it bunching up around it, you're good to go. You can easily wear these with trousers, especially the wider leg trousers. There's a lot of movement and it adds a layer of warmth if you're living somewhere where it does actually get cold. You've got the leather or suede coming up to your knee, a sock underneath that, and then the pant over that, you are in good shape. There are a couple of subcategories of tall boots I want to talk about. The Western style boot, not specifically cowboy boot with all the embroidery, that's always going to be in style. I live in Texas. I'm always going to have several pairs of those, but I'm talking about the Western inspired. And by that, I mean, you are going to see the stacked wooden heel, which is fine when it's paired with a Western look, as long as there's not an ankle notch somewhere, you're good. And you're going to see some components like the panel stitching here and the pull-on tabs up here. They are reminiscent of a Western style or riding style, but not specifically a cowboy. Now, I just want to point out something interesting. These are from Dolce Vita, and I got these during the Nordstrom anniversary sale, but then I found these on Amazon. And they look, obviously I picked a different color, so I didn't buy the same shoe, but they look almost identical. They feel identical. This is a faux suede. This is a real leather. Quite a price difference. So if you're wondering which one would I recommend, I guess it kind of depends on the color you're looking for, because if you really want this color, I don't know that they have it on the Amazon version, but check out both the links. This is an excellent quality shoe. There is actually one styling tip I want to give you on a taller boot if you're going to wear it with a shorter dress where you can see the actual whole shaft of the boot. If you want a more flattering silhouette of the boot, look for something that has this dip in the front. So it'll dip below your knee when you put it on. It makes the leg automatically look longer and slimmer. And like I said, I carry my weight in my legs, specifically around my knees. So any little trick I can get that can help make my legs look a little longer and leaner, I'm all in for. Another specific trick I wanted to talk to you about is just with this pair of boots. These do come in other colors, but I think this mahogany is a beautiful way to straddle brown and burgundy in the same shoe. Now this does go straight across, but what I wanted to point out was the width of the shaft. The reviews on this and my personal experience says that this has a lot of room in the actual shaft of the boot. And if you have thicker legs that aren't so thick that you need the wider shaft option, which if you're shopping at Nordstrom, I just have to say they have a lot of different shoe widths and some not just wide in the actual shoe, but if you need a wider calf circumference, you have a lot of options there. This one is just already loose in the regular width because you're gonna have room showing at the top of the boot, like your leg isn't gonna take up the whole circumference here, it will make your legs look thinner. But I just wanna warn you that that's a thing, because a lot of people sent these back because they didn't love how much room there was in here. If you're trying to fool the eye and you're gonna wear this with a shorter dress, these are a great way to do it. And finally, let's talk about heels. I am very happy to say that kitten heels are still going strong, and I love that because they are definitely easier to walk in than stiletto heels. What we're seeing though is that everything is showing a pointed toe, and I just want to point out that you can wear pointed toe shoes at any age. You just want to make sure when you try them on that your toe pretty much stops before it gets to the pointy part. Like, nobody's squeezing their feet into this part of the shoe. My toes stop up here. Now, everyone's gonna have their own personal issues, whether you're dealing with bunions or plantar fasciitis or whatever foot ailment you may have, then obviously these tips are meant for a more general audience than a specific audience. But I'm just saying, don't rule out the pointy toe. Just make sure when you try them on that you aren't expected to squeeze your feet into this part. This is purely decorative. But what I love about, say, these kitten heels is these are a thicker heel, so it's a lot more stable than, say, this one, which is more of a stiletto, and you can wobble a little bit in these, whereas these are super sturdy. We're also seeing a lot of slingback shoes, like this pointy toe suede slingback. Nice, beautiful block heel, super easy to walk around in. I love these. And I used to avoid slingback shoes for a really long time because I thought they were gonna dig into the back of my ankle, but that's what the adjustable strap is for. And I can assure you, these and all the slingbacks I currently have are very comfortable. Here's yet another option. This is a decent height heel. It's not super low. I'd say it's a mid-height heel, blocky. And this one is suede again, has a little bit of a loafer styling in the front, the pointed toe, and we're seeing this in a deeper chocolate brown. Of course, a classic pointy toe stiletto pump is always going to be in style, but now it's nice to see we have lots of other options. So there we have it, the styles of shoes that are trending right now. We have Mary Janes, ballet flats, low top sneakers, loafers and driving moccasins, boots that stop below the knee, ankle boots without a notch at the ankle, and heels that range from kitten heels to block heels and everything in between. Burgundy, chocolate brown, suede, velvet. There are so many choices. I feel like we're just hitting the tip of the iceberg on shoe options. I hope this was helpful and got you started on putting together some more outfits from your closet, or maybe you're going to be doing a little shopping. I know I have a few more to add to the list. I hope that you had fun today. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!